Hi and welcome to yet another FlightGear real-time recording video. In this video I'd like to do sort of a tutorial on doing an AutoLand on the A330 in FlightGear. This is the A330-200 with 203, which has something to do with the engine type of this plane. I don't know much about that, but this will work the same in every version of the every other engine type Airbus A330 in FlightGear, and also the A320 should do fine as well. This is, I believe, the latest version of the A330. I didn't check, maybe it's a few weeks old or something. I don't know if there's been updates. So this video, it's in a week from now I'll be doing the new type of reviewing of the aircraft of the month. I hope you've all found some time to check out the Sopwith Camel, and yes, I'm using this time to do some shameless promotion for my video of next week. I think most of you will actually be watching this not on the day I've uploaded this video. Anyway, check out in that case check out the new review. I hope you'll like it. Anyway, the landing, automatic landing of the A330. This plane can do some pretty smooth landings in FlightGear. Also coming up very shortly on this channel is an Autopilot tutorial for this plane. So if you don't really understand what's all going on at this point on my screen, be sure to check that tutorial out if it's already uploaded. I think that will be up in maybe 2 weeks. I hope so. I've been quite busy lately with exams and lots of video stuff, so expect that to be uploaded shortly as well. Anyway, I'm flying heading 254, speed 220, altitude. I'm going to descend to 3000 feet with a vertical speed of -500. I'm northwest of VHHH, which is Hong Kong, I believe. I use Hong Kong quite often because it doesn't have much lag for me. Oh, also I have the frame rate here in the lower right of the screen. I'm using some sort of a new test setup to do these videos, which is way more convenient for me, but it also means I'm actually recording this video to an external hard drive, so I'm just testing out the performance a bit of my computer. So what I would like to do is descend, turn left and left again onto the ILS of either of these two runways, and let the plane do the rest for me. That's basically the plan. Also, I've done no setup whatsoever of the altimeter, no setup whatsoever of the flight computers. Why? Because first of all, I'm lazy. Second of all, I know many of you don't use the flight computers. They seem very complicated, and if you just want to do a short flight, then there's no need to anyway. So there's some things you can configure and some things you actually have to configure before doing an ILS landing on the Airbus planes, which is the same on the A320, A330, also on other planes, but they're not really as advanced in FlightGear. So first of all, scroll over this button or click it to light up the screen. And first of all, go to radio navigation. This is where you'll actually have to enter the ILS frequency and runway heading, which I'll do right now. Let's see. 07 left, perfect. Frequency 111.10. 111. Decimal 10. Great. And let's enter that here. And heading is 74. 74. Great. That's it for the ILS setup. Basic. Well, not really, not quite. Right here, there's a button that says ILS. Be sure to click that, otherwise it won't work. Anyway, back to the computer thingy. The performance button, perf. Here you can set all sorts of automatic things for the plane, so it knows what to do, the autopilot. Go through the next phase thingy until you're at approach. Here you'll see approach speed and flare speed. This is the default setting. Default setting. I found 145 to be a bit high. Something in the 138 or something will do if your plane is quite light, which in my case it is at the moment. So let's set this, the approach speed, to 138. You can do calculations on this, but again, laziness, and I could dedicate an entire video to that as well. So, flare speed, by the way, that's fine. Although, we can set it to maybe 130 to not be so much of a drastic change between the two. I don't know, actually, it's set to 125 for a reason. Let's compromise 128. Alright, so next up is a 180 degree turn to the left. I'll do that on the autopilot. Actually, I'm not going to turn quite to 74 yet. Or maybe I will. Let's see. No, because I'm going to turn to 30 degrees more. So we'll actually fly towards the glide slope thing, if that makes sense. I hope it does. Let's do 94 instead, because we're quite far away, because I'm talking way too much, I think. No idea how long this video is going to be. Let's see, in the meantime we're at 3,000 feet. Great. No real need to slow down yet. 220 is fine at this point. Oh, yes, sure. The altimeter. Let's listen to the ATIS for that. ATC services in range. That one. ATIS. Radio settings. COM1 128.20. I think he already said it, but I didn't quite get it. Hold on, my volume is not quite loud. In the meantime, oh, it's saying the active runway is actually 25 something. In the meantime, I'm turning more to the left, by the way. Almost. Visibility 6 kilometers. Sky condition 800 view 1,500 scattered. Night rain temperature +2 7. Alright, so it's raining. Anyway, hurry up. Well, that's just great. He's saying the altimeter in hectopascal something. Not quite sure what it all means. But that means it's at a different scale. It's in the metric system, which actually makes much more sense than inches and stuff, but this plane does not have the ability to switch between the two at the moment, so that's too bad. Oh, I can find it though here. Same thing here. I'll Google how to change that. While I'm trying to explain what I just did while we're listening to the 80s, I turned to the left towards the runway heading. I see I already got the localizer here. So I can already click the localizer button on the autopilot as well. If you didn't know already, automatic landings are basically just the same as ILS landings, only you'll let the plane do everything up until touchdown. And also let's slow down a bit to 180 knots. So actually, by setting the localizer mode on the autopilot, it's starting to align to the runway already. What was I doing again? He said 10.08, right? You can reply, but it's not really working. Thanks anyway. Let's see. Google tells me it's equal to 2977. Oops. Yes, great. Hope that works. So the altimeter is set, we're lining up. Great. So now the thing. We have two autopilot buttons here. It's hard to find stuff about autopilots of aircraft on the internet. It's probably in big documented books and stuff, but I don't have the time to read it, so I just do what I can to find some stuff on the internet. It turns out, I think, they are, well, exactly the same thing, but they actually have two modes, which means that if you set Autopilot 1 and 2 at the same time, Autopilot 2 can actually judge how well Autopilot 1 is doing, and if it senses some mistakes, then Autopilot 2 will take over, and vice versa. So actually one autopilot is only needed for an automatic landing, but for safety reasons pilots actually have to enable both to do so. So let's set Autopilot 2 already. Why not? They're the same thing. So we're flying 3,000 feet, 180 knots. Some nice skies, sun setting. I like it. Now, let's see. What I'm gonna do is, as soon as the vertical component of the localizer comes on this screen here, I'll well, of course, I'll set the approach mode as well, which will make the plane fly towards the runway. And I'll set the speed to 160 knots, something like that. Once I'm reaching about 2,000 feet, then I'll probably want to slow down a bit more. So I'll set the speed on managed mode. Every single component of the autopilot has a managed mode, which I'll tell more about in the tutorial I just talked about at the beginning of the video. If you set the autopilot to managed mode while doing an automatic landing, it will actually fly the the approach speed that you've set here, because this is unmanaged by default. And as soon as it's about to flare, it will fly this speed. And even better, right before touchdown, it will disengage the auto throttle. So as soon as the plane says retard, you'll have control over the engines, so you can idle them and make the plane slow down for a pretty smooth touchdown. So that means that I can actually see the airport lights through the clouds a bit. So the vertical component should show up any second now. As soon as that happens, I'll slow down, like I said, add some flaps maybe, and set the approach mode. In the meantime, let's get some nice views of the exterior of this aircraft. Oh, there it is. That's nice timing. Great. So let's slow down to 160 knots. And add one flap setting. Tower view. Cool. Oh, we're doing quite a dive. Just setting the speed brakes here. I didn't quite expect the plane to make a dive like that. So we're almost at 2,000 feet. Let's what am I gonna do? Set this to something positive in case of a go around. Set this to managed. Lower the landing gear. And let's wait for the plane to slow down even more. Then I'll bring the speed brakes down again. Which is about now. And add full flaps. Is that okay? Yeah, looks like it. Alright, so we're below the clouds, we can clearly see the runway, but still we're going to do an automatic landing. Look at those beautiful clouds. So as you can see, the plane is flying well, just above 138 knots. That's probably because of the wind or something, I don't know. Like the 80s said, we should have actually landed on 2.5, which is from the other side, so I might be flying exactly in the wrong direction now. Let's see. No, it seems fine actually. That thing is... yeah, great. Alright. So, nice and steady approach. That's always the case. Now, as soon as we reach 1,000 feet, the plane will do a bit of a dive, I believe, to fly a bit lower, so it can take some more time to flare. 1,000. So the touchdown will actually be smoother than when it just flies the normal approach. Which means that in a second we'll see the vertical component of the localizer shoot up a bit. Or maybe the plane does it at 500 feet, I don't know. It used to be 1,000, but then the approach would be ridiculously low. So that's been fixed, it's better now. So the thingy will go up, and the plane will probably shout at me, because I should be holding the glide slope. But it actually... there we go. It will result in better touchdowns. So let's get a nice view of this.
300. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. Minimum. Minimum. Glide slope. Glide slope. 100. Glide slope.
So it's now flaring. And as soon as the plane says retard, I'll slow the engines down, I'll idle them.
Glide slope. 30. 20.
Which is now. It didn't say it because we're not in the cockpit, but I know it says it at 20 feet above the ground. So there's some weird water animation going on the front wheels. Anyway, the touchdown was pretty smooth, like I kind of predicted. It's always smooth on the A330. So right now I'm doing some thrust reversing. It's quite a long runway. We've got the time to slow down. And some real wheel braking. Great, so as you can see, the autopilot automatically disengaged after touching down perfectly on the center line, and also the auto throttle disengaged automatically. So let's bring the speed brakes down, taxi off the runway, flaps up, we don't need them anymore. Tell the ATC we're clear of the runway. Of course there's no ATC at this point. And let's stop the plane here. Great. So that's how to do an automatic landing on the A330. Yeah, please let me know in the comments if you learned something from this video. I might not have time to reply to all comments, but I read every single comment on all of my videos. Like I said, just don't have the time to reply, unfortunately. Anyway, I hope you guys liked this video. Be sure to also like it, if you did like it, by clicking that button. It'll help others find the video who might be interested in this as well. And of course, it's a more lazy way to show me that you like this video, which is great, right? We're all lazy, I know. Great, please stay tuned for next week's video, which is the review of the Sopwith Camel. If you're actually watching this before the, let's say the 27th of May 2013, you still have some time to write a review of that plane and send it to me, aircraftofthemonth@gmail.com. There's a fair chance I'll use your review in the final review. So, thanks for watching this video. Hope you liked it. See you next time. Bye bye.